Oh, I think it's working now. All right. Let me know, Kyler. Can you hear me? Okay, awesome. Good, good. So all that talk that I was doing, I'm basically saying, okay, I'm going to admit. Hopefully, we have some more people joining us. It's just you right now, and then I have one more that looks like they might be having trouble logging in. Um, so today we are going to be working on our calendar event. I believe today, after we complete our calendar event, I can go back to developing the professional cover letter um, in terms of the information. But I think everyone is probably going to be in a position. Oh, here we got more folks joining. Good morning. Good morning. I think everyone's going to be in a position to where we will have reached the end of module one today. So I will let everyone know if they can take the quiz, but that will be at the end of class. I will let everyone know that. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. Welcome.
Good
So
morning.
good morning. Here we have another student joining. Good morning. So I was saying, and we still have more folks joining. I think today we will complete module one. Got a good feeling. Um, we do still have some folks that I'm hoping will make the Google Calendar, not Google Calendar, their Gmail, the professional Gmail. I have one, two, three, four, five students that I have received emails from. If for any reason you sent me an email and on your grade book today, if you look at it, if it doesn't say turned in, that means I haven't received it. Send me another email from that account, and just let me know, that you have completed that part of your assignment. So today we're building off of that. We're going to be building off. Okay, who has their hand raised? Hold on one moment. Krista. Yes, Krista.
Hey, it's because I don't know. I know I missed a class last week.
Okay.
So when I was trying to do the new email,
Yeah.
um I because I had messed up, so I had to like delete one. So we had to, it was supposed to give us an option for professional email, right?
So
I
you
didn't get.
select you select for personal use, not for business use, because that one will be money. You have to, I believe there's a paid feature in that. Is
Okay,
that
so
is that what
it's just
happened?
personal. No, it was because
Yeah.
I was getting so confused. I was like, wait, am I doing personal or professional? I was like, oh, because I know you said professional, so we can
So
have professional account, but
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
wasn't sure if I did it the right way. So I
No,
don't know.
you
I sent it to
so
you.
so I don't know if you tried to make a business email, but that's like for the office, or that's for someone's if they have a own a business. And I believe a lot of times you can even change the ending instead of at gmail.com, it could be something else. And I there's a paid feature in that. But you
Okay,
would
I got nervous, so I wasn't sure if I did
yeah.
it right or wrong. So I just
No, no,
wanted to
no.
make sure with you if that was the right one, like if I sent you the correct one.
Whatever one you sent came to my email and it was a
Yeah,
Gmail. So
awesome. Okay.
it's turned in. I
Okay.
have it marked. Um,
Thank
I'll
you.
tell you right now, as long as it's okay, everyone's okay with it. These are the people who I have. Kyler, I have yours. Krista, I have yours. Shehar is in here. I have hers. And Gabriel, I have yours. And I'm going to leave both of. I have two different things. I added your new email to our class. It looks like you are logged on now in both. Do you want me to just keep using both? I will send
Um,
things. Oh, Krista, yeah. I mean, I don't have yours added to the class for use, but are you interested in that? I was talking to Gabriel. Sorry for the confusion.
so you're talking about like where you send our information to?
Yes, are you comfortable with the one that I have originally for you? Is that good?
That that is the what, the Yahoo?
Yes. Do you want me to keep sending it to that
Um,
or add the other one too?
Which one was the other one? I'm so sorry. It's because since I have a
No, it's
Yahoo, I
okay.
have a
It's
Gmail,
okay.
and now I have a new Gmail.
It's fine. It's fine. Let me see.
My ADHD is kicking in, so
No, 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 no. It's okay. Believe me, this is fine. This is good. Um, so the one I have for you, goodness, why is this going to be complicated? No, no, it's not you. Let me see. No. If I was going to email, well, tell me the email. This is, I'm waiting for it to load. Thanks everyone for your patience. It's Krista Perez 69 at gmail.com.
oh yeah, that
Is
was my uh
original.
oh yeah, so that's my original.
That's good. That's still a good email for you for
Yeah,
me to
that's
send.
fine. We can just take out the whole the Krista 17 at Yahoo. That's fine. We could take that one out and then we can just use this one.
Okay.
Um I used my zodiac sign for that one.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's the only reason I would say not to so with your job applications and whatnot, there's a lot of scams out there. So just be careful if you
Yeah,
use that one.
and I'm kind of glad you had us do the new Gmail
Yeah.
because I actually updated my resume to that new Gmail because I feel like maybe my Gmail was the
Hmm.
problem.
It's possible but now you're gonna be able to see where it's coming from, right?
Yes, thank you.
So
You're the best. Thank you.
hey, no, no, no. Thank you. Thank all of you for your hard work here. But if I didn't say your name, I got through everyone. So I am missing yours. And that's how many people? Um, I am missing it from one, two, and well, three, possibly. I'm so sorry, everyone sneezed there. Excuse me. Okay. So I'm going to say if you haven't got confirmation today of me having gotten an email from your new email, send another one or let me know if you need to make an appointment to get help creating that email. I already helped at least one student with that. Yeah, so we can get that situated. This now I'm going to start sharing my screen here. This is going to be our um, tutorial on setting up an event in Google Calendar. And if there's one thing you take away from this class, if there's one thing that you take away from our time together, I hope it's a little bit of opportunity to get organized and situate yourself uh, in a way that's helpful to your life and work, or search for work, or even just to meet up with people, maybe even family members. So, we are on the Association House of Chicago's Google account. That's what I'll be using for this tutorial. We're about 10 minutes into class, and I'll write that's where this tutorial begins on our creating a calendar event. So we're going to go over, once we are in our Google account, we're going to go over to the Google Apps, and you're going to see this square with the number 31 in it. It's supposed to look like a calendar a little bit, and it's called Calendar. It's Google Calendar. Going to open this up here. All right. So I will also show you some of the different features in this calendar that are available for your use, and they are pretty neat. So we'll get to the event in just a moment, but let's look at the task. So let's say you have a task, something that's to do, right? Let's say you need to vacuum your house or go to the post office. I could I could do that. I could actually change the time. So you see over here, there's a little clock on the left-hand side. But before I even go down to that, I'm gonna write go to the post office, right? We'll say go to the post office because I got to return something to Amazon. I have to make an Amazon return. So I'm going to write that in my description down here. I could even put a link to if there's a QR code that needs to um, be accessed or some sort of code or number. I can put that in this description. All right, this is not going to repeat. Although I could, if it was like a weekly thing, like I know it's winter outside, but if it was the summertime and it was mow the lawn and I mow the lawn every week, I could have this task that comes up. I'm not going to repeat this though. This is a one and done. And I'm going to do this after class today. And this is completely made up, by the way. I don't need to make any returns to Amazon, but I'm just going here. I'm going to say I need to get to the post office at 3 because it closes at 5. That's it. And I'm going to write that note too. Closes 5 p.m. And we, I believe, this right here is a categorization of the different tasks that we could have. It's not going to be all day. We're just going to have one time, right? At 3. I want to be there at 3 or around 3. So let's look at this does not repeat. Of course, we could get any one of these here if I wanted to do a weekly, monthly, annually, every weekday, Monday through Friday. So I will click save and look at that. So this is the big calendar that we see, and it's going to look different on your phone, by the way. But this is one app for the class that I would download to your phone, even if just to have a reference to the calendar. Um, you can also have holidays on here. I have seen holidays appear on mine. Um, I believe that those show up automatically, although I don't see the Christmas holiday here or Hanukkah or any other holidays. We can add those manually if we wish. But look at that. I have on my calendar here this task to go to the post office, and when it's done, I can mark as completed. Got it. And it will stay there, crossed through like this. If I accidentally marked it as completed, I can always mark it as uncompleted. And of course, because this isn't a real thing, I can also delete the task. So I just wanted to give a little overview of that for small tasks, right? For your personal use. There's another one I'm going to show you. And this is good for if you have a job and you are busy and you have a set amount of hours that you can create to have someone make an appointment to meet with you. Maybe it's for lunch. Maybe it's if you're a professor or a teacher, it's during your office hours. The point is, this is an opportunity for you if you have any kind of professional regimented schedule to create a block of time during your work week. And you could see here over on the left for meeting with people, for people to go into your Google Calendar, and you could send them an invitation to your Google Calendar, and to have them look at when you are available. So I am going to just create something. I'm going to say office hours, right? And I am available from, I'm going to say 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, Monday through Friday. And I already, the default with this is that Sunday and Saturday are unavailable. But if I click on this plus sign, I could add another day, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say 2 to 4 on Monday. I'm going to say 8 to 10 on Tuesday. Oh, let's go AM and AM. And I'll alternate and say 2 to 4, right? So this is all just exemplary. I'm not actually telling you I am available at these times, but this is just to show you how you can structure your time for appointments. And I'll do the same thing here. I'm actually going to say 8 to 10 on Thursday. Again, we get into PM, 1 AM. And then on Friday, I'm going to say 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. right? So Friday will be my longest day with in terms of availabilities. Um, so look at this scheduling window. So if someone wants to make an appointment with me, I can actually adjust the amount of days ahead of time that they have to book it. I'm going to say um, 60 days is 2 months ahead. So if I was in a doctor's office, and I can increase it too, as you can see, but I'm actually just going to highlight this. I'm going to say I want someone to make an appointment with me 15 days, so half a month. Could even say 2 weeks, 14 days. But minimum time uh, before the appointment starts that it can be booked. So I'm going to increase this. I want it to be, let me let me do 48 hours. I want a full 24 and an additional 24. So that no one might overlap with booking appointments. That's my personal preference. All of this is for your personal preference and so that you can have people make appointments with you. This is sort of the easy way for instead of telling someone, "Hey, let me check my calendar for when I'm available. I'm very busy." You could be like, "Make an appointment with me. These are the hours that I'm available. I am very busy." You can actually go in and you could, if you wanted, let's say maybe this month is a little slower, so I can go from now today until let's say January or let's say February. Let's look at the slow times a year here. February, say 28th. And this is completely fabricated, by the way, making this all up. But this is just um, for you to see instead of having to scramble and say, "Oh gosh, when can I fit you in? Oh no, I have an event going on at that same time. I need to cancel." This is a way for you to look at your schedule and say, "Here, make an appointment with me," to someone. You just send them your calendar and they will schedule the appointment. Um, so let's look at the availability on any given day. So I'm going to say the 24th. Um, I am not available, right? Let's change another day. I'm going to say the 25th. I am unavailable, right? Christmas Eve and Christmas. I'm going to be busy. And then, oh, you know what? I'm actually also New Year's Eve, so I'm going to go back. New Year's Eve on the 31st, I am not going to be available. And New Year's Day, I am not going to be available. All right. So now I have allotted myself holiday time to say, don't try to make an appointment with me on these days because I will not be able to meet with you. So when someone gets an invitation to make an appointment on my calendar, they're going to see all of my available days. And oh, you know what? Actually, I'm going to a baby shower on February 14th. It's Valentine's Day. It's a Valentine's themed baby shower. And that is a Friday. So I'll say 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. I'm available, right? So now I still have availability, but that window is shorter. See, I've gone in and I've adjusted things for my schedule so that I can still meet with the people I need to meet with. I will get reminders about these appointments that get made and an email that there's been an appointment that needs to be confirmed, right? That's a pretty handy tool. It's pretty handy for a therapist or any kind of you know person who is in a practice where they're meeting with someone, hairstylist, um, uh, barber. I'm thinking of these kind of appointments, these one-on-ones with professionals, right? So this is an excellent tool to use, and it's free. That's the great thing about Google. You have this access to this free stuff. All it's going to do is take, and I may say all it's going to do, they take your personal information so that they can have information that they can then turn over to um, companies that are marketing their products and services towards you. So this is part of what you will see. All right, so booked appointment settings. All right, so buffer time. When someone makes an appointment, I want a buffer time of 30 minutes. I'm going to select that. I could change it to 15. I could change it however I wanted, an hour between, but I'm going to say 30 minutes so that I have time to get a drink of water or do whatever I need to between my appointments. Maximum bookings during day. All right. So if I know most of my days, except for Friday, are going to have um, bookings for 2 hours, and there's a half hour in between. So, or 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. is 2 hours. 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. is 2 hours. I'm only going to be able to meet realistically with two, um, but I'm going to say three because on Friday, or I'll say four. I will keep it four because on Friday, um, I don't want to not use that time that's available, right? There may be some Fridays where I have something I'm busy to do. Guess what? I can change a date's availability, right? All right, let's look at what else. Oh, I can look and actually see on this calendar about the conflicts. So if there are other calendars that I have access to that are important to me with regards to the way I am scheduling this time, it will tell me if there is a conflict. And the other thing too is we are in Central Time in Chicago. If you were, say, a therapist doing appointments online, if you were licensed as a therapist or in whatever facet, to go and um, do telehealth appointments. You could also let your just by having these appointments booked in Central Time, the Google Calendar will let people know this is in Central Time, or this is that your time Eastern that you're booking this appointment. So this is again a really handy tool. You can already see the hours that are broken up here. And for some reason, Friday, oh, this is the February calendar. You can see it's shorter. And now this is a typical Friday every other week. So this is a neat thing you may want to consider using at some point. We are not going to be doing this for class. I wanted to show you some of these neat things so that you would have the opportunity to um, to get to have access to it, right? If you were going to do it yourself, or if you felt like you might have a need. So let's go next. All right. I can now show you um, if there's a website that someone is going to be going through, you can actually attach this to it so that people are going through the Google Calendar to make these appointments. Location and conferencing, and I will show you this um, on our events page, but you can do everything from a phone call to an in-person meeting, and of course, this is neat because Google has a Zoom feature, we'll say. It's not Zoom, but it does a lot of the same things as Zoom, and it does other things as well. We use Zoom here at Association House for teaching virtually because it is a reliable industry standard of uh, a platform through which people can meet. Zoom, came up during the pandemic as the preeminent um, virtual meeting uh, app. So they pay for this Zoom, so we can spend 2 hours every, every day in this, so every other day in this class, working on digital skills for life. right? If you had a personal free version of Zoom, I think the limit is an hour per meeting. That's just for you to know. I don't know what the limitations are for Google for their Meet and video conferencing. If you look into it, maybe there's a wider amount of time. If you look at the reviews, I don't know how it compares in terms of um, its user-friendly interface to Zoom. But I will say, my wife uses Google Meets for her job and her position, and she has very nice things to say about it. So that is the only feedback I can give you with regards to this. But you can also, um, in the description, if you're doing Zoom, you can add the Zoom link, right? So you can display the text and you can just write Zoom. So this is what people will see, Zoom link. And then you can actually put the Zoom URL address. So I'm going to cancel that. But this is what you can do. And what you may do as you're creating the calendar event for your Google Calendar. We're going to be creating a calendar event just in a minute here. But there is a booking form that you can also send to people that will ask their first name, last name, email address. You can add another item like a phone number, right? Or you can customize it to say, specify what kind of meeting this will be. Is this going to be on a certain department, a certain client, depending on if you're marketing? So there's all kinds of things you can do this. Now, this is an important one for the booking confirmations and reminders, right? So booking confirmations and reminders, you and the person who made the appointment will get a confirmation email with a calendar invitation. All right. So there is a way, and I will have to go back through it, that you can have it remind you an hour before, 15 minutes before, 24 hours before, all of the above. So there is a way that that is possible, right? We aren't going to worry about that right now. Instead of saving, though, I am going to click out of this, discard the changes, and we're just going to go back to calendar. Now, we are going to look at making an event on Google Calendar. This is a little bit less logistically, this is for an event, right? So instead of an appointment schedule that people are going to have to fit into your time frame, this is going to be about an event that you and likely other people will be connected with over Google Calendar. And the difference is I would not treat the event calendar like it was an appointment schedule or a task. A task can be something quotidian, like a daily task or a weekly task. Boring. It could just be a reminder, um, go vote, right? I could do one-off, one-time task, go vote, shovel my neighbor's driveway. If I have an older neighbor who needs assistance shoveling snow off their driveway, I do that every week or twice a week, and I could put that as a task on the calendar. I'm not inviting anyone else into it. It's not an event where there's going to be other people at it, and I don't need to schedule an appointment to the event because the appointment puts it more contingent on my free time. This is shared time. Think of events as shared time with people. So what would it be useful for? It would be useful for a class, right? So our own class can create a calendar event on Google Calendars. And in fact, I am going to name this Digital Skills for Life. And you will too. Digital Skills for Life, right? So that's going to be the name, or I say class. Digital Skills for Life class. All right. So this is Friday, February 7th. The first thing I'm going to do here, and this is what I want you to do, we're going to take a trip back in time. right? So our calendar, I jumped ahead to February because I was using the example of taking a day to change the schedule. So we started this class on November, was it 12th, I believe? Tuesday, November 12th. I'm going to change the time to 10 a.m. and I'm going to change the end time to 12 p.m. This is still an event, right? We might have jumped over, but this is still an event. Now, here we go. This is everyone pay close attention. So now we have named our class Digital Skills for Life class, Tuesday, November 12th, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. These are the days we're going to be meeting. Now you're going to go. Our time zone. That's good. It is Central Time. Everyone that's in this class is in Central Time. We don't need to worry about changing it. You don't need to worry about changing it. Does not repeat. This does repeat. We need to change that. And yes, it is weekly on Tuesday. I could go to the trouble of creating two different events, one Tuesday and one Thursday, and naming them the same name, but I don't want to do that because the better way to do it is to go custom. Now I have right here, repeat once a week. All right. So I have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. That's when this class is. But we don't just meet Tuesday, we also meet Thursday. Now we know when the end date is, right? So it says ends, and we have selected never. I am going to change this date. This date, we end on December 17th. All right. So make sure when you go through, you are going to have this. It's going to repeat once a week on Tuesday, once a week on Thursday, and it ends on December 17th. These are the real times and dates we're working with here. So, in a way, you're starting your very own events calendar for yourself, right? You're already starting to schedule your time. So now when you make your appointments or when you do another event, you'll see this is in your calendar. And you don't have to worry about deleting it because guess what? It's going to end on December 17th. So I click done. Now all those details are in here. Weekly on Tuesday, Thursday until December 17th, 2024. Add guests. When you go to add guests, you are going to add, and you can look at this as you're looking back, CMOULTON at associationhouse.org. This is the one you're going to want to add. Don't add the Casey in the class because that's my personal email. Don't send anything to that. I want you to send it to this one because it's the one I'm going to be looking at, and this is the one I'm instructing you to use. Guest permissions. Um, so for you, you don't want anyone to modify the event, so don't. So when you go to guest permissions, don't select this. If you are planning a trip with a group of friends or family, and you know a couple people's schedules don't really fit together, and it hasn't really been worked out, maybe you'll want to modify the event then. If something is tentative and not set, like with for example, like no one has rented out an event space and there's no set date, if that is the case, you can let them modify the event. I don't want you to let anyone modify your event. You don't need to invite others. So when you send this to me, you don't need to invite others. We can see the guest list. That's fine. If you don't want your guests to see the guest list, that's okay. But just know, um, if you're trying to okay, so for example, let me think of a nice example. Instead of inviting two people who hate each other to an event and they finding out that they were both invited, we're gonna say, you have a surprise. It's a family reunion, and Grandma Josephine, I'm making this up. This is all made. This is a scenario. Grandma Josephine um, says she can't come because she has a scheduled surgery on a certain date. And then Grandma Josephine finds out that her surgery had to be rescheduled and she wants to surprise the family. So before the invitation is sent out, she comes to you and she says, "I want to surprise everyone, but I really want to still be included in the Google Calendar to help keep me on track." Then you can say, "I don't want anyone to see the guest list." And then maybe not say anything about it. You want to surprise people. Grandma Josephine is here. Hey, yeah, that's the kind of reason you might want to do that. Or you might just want to keep people's information private. So if you're doing an event that's for business, um, we talked about BCC, blind carbon copy. When you're sending an email out to a bunch of different people and you don't want to share their personal information among those people, that's when you would also do this. So they can't see who else is coming. But you can leave this checked. And because this is the association house event, I'm just going to uh, set this as the default. So, okay, join with Google Meet. We're not going to do that. You can press the X, add location. This is going to be simple. So you can either put, and this is a neat feature, by the way. Um, let's say you want to meet someplace that's close to you. Like you want to meet at Golden Nugget Pancake House, right? But you don't know the address. You know what streets it's on, but you don't know the address, right? You can type in Golden Nugget and look at this. All of these different ones jump out at you, right? Now let me show you this because we've all been to Association House for the orientation, right? So Association House of Chicago, look at that. And when I put it in here, when I click on it, because I just couldn't remember just then. I couldn't remember the address. Oh, there's Association House. Click and look at that. Now, anyone who gets this invitation is going to have the address. So they can use Google Maps. Another app I recommend you download on your phone to be able to, it's a GPS basically, to be able to find a place with your vehicle, to find it on public transit, to walk to it, to bike to it, right? So there's all of these options of travel to get to this location. So this is a neat thing for an event. So Grandma Josephine doesn't want to get confused with Association House of Chicago and Association House of Milwaukee, right? Or Association House of um, Oak Park. I'm making these up, right? But I'll give you an example. Now she will see whoever invites her, this is where she needs to come. So you can add a description, you can add a Google Drive attachment. So let's say you made an event with the details, you're doing a potluck, and you have a list of um, appetizers, snacks, you have drinks, you have meals like the main course, entrees, and then desserts. You can have people sign up in those lists and even put, what sorts of items they're bringing, whether they have allergies, and this could be a Google Drive attachment through Docs, which can be edited, or through Sheets, right? So if you wanted to use a spreadsheet to organize that information, you could do that too. Um, Whichever is best for your purposes. I think Docs is a little bit easier to read on a phone, and anyone can read it on the computer. Google Sheets is a little bit more difficult to read on the phone, but you can look at it on your computer, and you could also print it off if you wanted a spreadsheet of what people were bringing. That's an example. I'm not going to be doing a Google Drive attachment. I'm going to add a description though. I'm going to add a link. And actually, I'm going to type Zoom link, right? Because this class is a hybrid class. We have it in person for orientation and on the last day, and we have um, we have this class online for the majority of our time together. So I am going to open the email, just one moment, and I am going to copy. Let me just put this down here. I'm moving some things around. Hopefully, it's not in the way of anybody's view. One moment. Sent items. Going into my email. I'm pulling out the actual link, and the link I send you every week is the same link, or every time before class, it's the same link as previous. So I'm going to take and I'm going to copy. Come on.
I
There we go.
thought that once you completed a class, the next class was always different. That's new information.
The link is going, well, so I teach more than one class, and every time I teach a class, that link is different, right? So you are cohort 15. So cohort 15 has a unique Zoom link. I have another class, an AI class I teach, that has a unique Zoom link. So for the duration that I set that Zoom link, it is the same. So if you click on last class's Zoom link, it should take you to today's class. The one I sent today, the same. So I don't know if I miscommunicated that at all at any point.
No, no,
Apologize.
you didn't. I was just saying that I thought that every not every class, sorry, but every of our class.
Yeah.
So like you know how you send in a one on Tuesday and you send one on Thursday.
Yeah.
I thought each of like the link or say the digital number was always different. I thought it never was the same.
No, no, no.
New
It's
information
this
to
it's the
me.
same for your class, but if it was a different class outside of this one, there's different links that are sent for that t time frame. So this one is going to be Tuesdays, Thursdays, and it has the unique name of Digital Skills for Life Cohort 15. And that stays the same for you. For if I have a meeting later today and a Zoom link is sent to me, that is actually going to be a different Zoom link, but I am using the same account. Maybe that's what got confusing. I'm using the same Zoom account to do this.
Okay.
So the Zoom account is the same. So the message you're getting from that Zoom account is the same. We all use the same Zoom account in this department. So I can't have a meeting while someone else has scheduled a meeting. So that I wouldn't be able to use Zoom simultaneously to teach this class as someone is using Zoom to teach a class or meet with someone. So during this 2 hour block, like this Zoom, I get to use it for us. I'm gonna paste. This is the Zoom address. So when they see it, all they're gonna see is Zoom link, right? But this is actually going to be the entire address. If you hover over it, and I'll show you. Okay. So see how it's just blue and it's underlined? So that's the link. So when someone opens this up, they can click on it and they can join. If I hover, and I guess maybe it has to be, I have to be hovering it once it's sent, it will show this long, all those numbers and letters. It's going to show that. All right. So now I'm also going to write a note. I'm going to say weekly. So Tuesday, I'm going to say Tuesday, Thursdays. Whoops. All right, at 10 a.m. And of course, if you want to make this look more polished and professional, you absolutely can. Um, Far be it from me to tell you like this is acceptable for like a class necessarily. I don't think there's gonna. I'm not telling you what to write. This is a recommendation of what you can write. Tuesday, Thursday at 10 a.m. in person. Um, person, let's say 11, 12, 12, 17 at 10 a.m. AHC. All right. And I put AHC Association House of Chicago, right? So here is this, right? Um, I don't know why there's a find a time. Let me just click this real quick. All right, let me go back. All right. So everything that I have done is going to be at least similar to what I want you to do with regards to this. I just wanted to see if there was anything else I could show you in regards to. Oh, this is good. All right, so down here at the bottom, underneath this add as a Google Drive attachment, um, we are going to we're going to make this private because we don't need everyone who looks at our Google Calendar to know where we are at every time. If you would want to make it public, it would be so that people could look at your when they you know access your calendar, they could see everything you're up to. I don't know that that's a great idea. If you have a business or something like that, sure, but I don't know that you would want to do that. I say set it to private. Now, there's this is a notification, that bell. That's what that means. Usually when I hover over these things, a little word will pop up, will manifest and say what it is. Right now it's 30 minutes before. I actually want to do custom, right? Personally. So notification, I want an email and I want it 24 hours before. Oops. This is not mandatory for you, but I'm showing you what you can do. This part of it, the custom notification. I want an email 21 day before, and I want to add a notification so we have another bell, right? So this is 10 minutes before, and I want to do 30 minutes before. If I wanted, I could also do 10 minutes before too, just to be safe. 30 minutes to 10 minutes. So now I'm going to save. Would you like to send invitation emails to Google Calendar guests? You're going to click send. That way it will send to me. And I have my email open over here so I can actually see whether this is going to come through or not. But look at my calendar. Look at that. I have all of these different things now um, sent to this email that I can see. We are some of these are actually not things I've scheduled, but they're scheduled on the AHC. So let's say we have a holiday come up, and again, oops, I'm flipping through the months here. You can scroll with the scrolly wheel on your mouse if you want to go through the calendar, right? You can see how it was changing September, October, November. All right. Well, I remember we have Thanksgiving on the 28th. So if I click on this and I hover, you see how it says edit event? Man, I got to edit this event. Um, I want to cancel this here. I want to actually see where, hold on. Where is it? More actions. Okay. I want to write canceled, right? And you can actually spell, I believe, canceled with two L's, whoops, or one L. It is both are acceptable. I know that sounds weird. Found that out like a year ago. There's certain words that um, the rules of doubling the consonant with the ed, they don't necessarily apply. So canceled holiday. I'm going to put in parentheses, right? So I can do that, and I can go to save it, and it's going to say this event, this and the following events, or all events. If I say this event, this one day, this Thanksgiving holiday will be altered, and all of the other events on the calendar will stay the same. If I click this holiday, this day, and every event afterwards are going to change to this exact thing, right? So all of them will read canceled holiday. If I do this even before this holiday, when I've created this calendar, it's going to go all the way back to our very first class that was scheduled with Digital Skills for Life class, and it will change it to be this. So depending on how you want to edit these events, that's how you can operate between. But let's say you just wanted to delete this event, right? It's going to ask the same thing. This event, so this day, it would disappear off the calendar, right? This event and following events, if everyone in the class dropped out and said, we're not coming back after Thanksgiving, maybe that would be a situation where I would do that. All events, we need a time machine to do this for ourselves. But your calendar, it will delete every single one of them. So you have a couple options. You can either, and I think this is a good exercise for you. I'll encourage you to do this, but I'm not making it mandatory. The reason I'm showing you again is for your own information. So I am actually going to save it like this, canceled holiday, just so you can see it on the calendar. And I'm hoping maybe I'll actually, because I really want everyone to know, we do cut, right? I'm using my mouse here. Go here. I'm going to go paste. So it's the first thing I see when I go to look at my Digital Skills for Life class. And this is the only class I want to do. So I'm going to go, okay. Yes, I do. I want to update. Um, Thanksgiving holiday. Thanksgiving holiday, no class. All right. And I will send it. So now anyone that's in this event is going to see canceled holiday digital skills for life on that November 28th. Right. So we are now at 10:55. That means we are going to be taking our 10-minute break. Does anyone have any questions before we go on our break about this?
No.
No? No one has any questions. Okay, good. So here's what I'm going to do. It's 10:56 now. You have 10 minutes for your break. I'm going to stop sharing. If no one has any questions, you can turn your camera off and take a break for 10 minutes, and I will see you at 11:06. All right. See you then. All right, we are back to our regularly scheduled programming. Hopefully, everyone was able to get done what they needed done. I see we might have lost someone over the course of our break. Let me share this screen. One moment. Screen two. Let's go. All right. So again, if you need to delete the calendar event, and let me see if there's anything. I'm not going to actually delete it. I'm just going to show you. You can click on it, and I might not actually have the authority to do it. Usually there's a little trash can. Here, let me see this. There it is. Um, there's a little trash can, and you can write delete event, and it will ask you this event and every event after, or the entire series. So if you wanted to delete anything that you created, you still can do that. Um, no one has any questions about the calendar? Nope. All right. Then I am going to move in to the next portion of our Digital Skills for Life Module 1. And let me just see. All right. Let's talk about, and trying to skip over, going to digital security. We're going to be talking about digital security today, and this is very important. Oops. Let me actually escape for one moment. That's not what I wanted to pull up. Thank you for your patience, everybody. From current slide. That's what I wanted it to. All right, there we go. We're going to talk about digital security, right? So, digital security is any application or settings inside of applications that help us stay safe when using the internet, right? Um, so you see this here, cyber attack, right? Data breach, security breach. A cyber attack is any attempt to break into digital devices or networks. You also see this word here, phishing. They show a little hook. It's got a smartphone that it's hooked on, but it's spelled with a PH instead of an F, like the phishing we know about. Phishing is what happens when people send messages that look real to get you to give them your information, like passwords, birthday, or credit card numbers. No bank, utility company, or any other business will ever ask you for information by email, text, or phone call. So let's think about that again. They will never ask you for information, reach out to you and ask you for information. They may reach out to you and say that there's a problem and you need to get in touch with the customer service or with a specific department to sort it out. You may get something in the mail which says there was your social security number was leaked from Target or a grocery store, or that there was a data breach for Experian and TransUnion. I believe it's Experian and TransUnion, the two credit bureaus that do the credit checks. I probably have that wrong, but I believe those are the two major ones, and that actually did happen. There was a major breach, so you may want to do a freeze, not a hold, but a freeze on your credit so that no one can open up a credit card, take out a loan, or steal your identity using your social security number and points of contact, those pieces of information. For example, if someone has access to your social media and you post a picture of a loved one, maybe it's your mother, and you write her maiden name, her first and last name, the original. And it's an older picture of her, maybe when she was younger. And you have friends of hers on Facebook or Instagram, and you post this. That is a piece of information that someone can use to then cross-reference to the number that they obtained from the leak, and then use that as security information to open a new credit card, to create a new bank account, these kinds of things. All right. Um, don't also, I would say, don't ever post a picture of your driver's license or passport. Um, those those pieces of information are also things people can use to steal your identity. So anyone who contacts you via email, and I say this is happens more often over email, and says you need to act immediately. You need to do this right now. This is very important. Or your account is going to close, or it will be locked, or you will be fined. These sorts of things, they are not they're not realistic, right? If someone's going to send you a fine, it's going to usually come in the mail. They're not going to do it online, and they're not going to do it over text message. If anyone tells you to use the Signal app, if anyone tells you to use WhatsApp to pay a bill, to settle some sort of financial dispute, it is more likely than not a scam. I can't imagine any legitimate government agency or business saying you need to go to Western Union and wire me money, or you need to use the Cash app to send me money. No one should be doing that. And I'm admitting someone into the classroom here. One moment. So in all, right? Um, if you get any information requests from email, text, or by a phone call, um, this is going to be bad. It's not legitimate. So if you call your bank, doctor's office, or other business, they may ask you to verify yourself by asking for some information, right? Sometimes they'll ask you the last four of your social. Sometimes they'll ask you your birth date. And if you go to the pharmacy, they usually ask you your birth date and address. These things are pieces. They're okay, but be careful. It is up to you to keep yourself safe from people doing bad things, right? Right. So know when to give out personal information, right? Everything that's listed here, name, address, date of birth, credit card or bank account information, mother's maiden name, astrological signs, right? All of these things are cross references because let's say, and it's an interesting point, Krista, that you were talking about your email. You said, "Oh, it has my astrological sign." Let's say someone saw that's your astrological sign, and then they went on to social media and they saw on your wall, for some reason, this was a picture your friend tagged you in, and you went out for your birthday. And they said, "Happy birthday!" And it was whatever date, January 10th, and it was a picture from January 10th at this restaurant, and you're out with a group of friends, and they say, "I can't believe you are X amount of years old." So they're going to be able to know, right, when your birthday is for sure, because they looked in that month on your wall, right, on your Facebook wall. This is just an example of something that can happen. And you think, and I'll tell you this, you think, who has the time to do this? Why would someone spend all their time researching me? I'm nobody. No, you are somebody. And the point is that you are somebody who has an identity. Identities are valuable and they are malleable and they can be manipulated to steal from you, right? So be careful with social media. Be careful with things that you put out with regards to this kind of information. There are people, there are actually enormous amounts of people. And we think of these nefarious actors in basements, on keyboards, living in their with their mother. No, not always, not like this. There's actually an industry abroad and in the United States of people who are sitting at a computer and their entire day, their entire work schedule is to gather information to compile a profile so that there can be a fake account made for you, where by which they're taking out money, and they're doing this to dozens upon hundreds upon thousands of people across the world. Um, yes, so this is a real thing, and international crime. is connected to it. Some governments are connected to it, and I won't get into who. But if you watch the news, you'll often hear North Korea gets mentioned, Russia gets mentioned, and this is transnational. So um, there are people who are actually human trafficked into these positions where they are forced to sit at a computer and try to get you on the phone and get your personal information because they think they're going to a legitimate tech job, and then they end up kidnapped, their papers taken, and then this is done. So when I tell you be careful, it's because this is very common. This happens every day and happens to anyone. All right, so always log out of your online accounts and log off your computer when you're not using it. If you have a personal computer, like your laptop, you can stay logged in, but you should update the password every 3 months. Um, Google will give you access to a lot of things by having passwords saved on the browser. Um, you will have to log off the browser eventually. You'll have to we'll talk about cookies here in a second. You'll have to clear cookies. Um, if someone has access to your Google or gets access to your Google, assume all of your passwords have been compromised over it, right? So it's very important you protect your Google account above all other accounts because there's two-step verification, which prevents it. But if someone, again, gets past that two-step verification, maybe even with your assistance, they trick you, that could be very serious. So be careful as you are online. Do not share your passwords. I'll say that again. Do not share your passwords. Don't share them with anyone in this class. Don't share them with me. Um, I say if you can type it and save it on a device can be hacked. My solution, my request to you, write your passwords down, pencil and paper, right? So no one can hack into your desk drawer. No one can hack into your paper pad. So that's my recommendation to write them down. Do not talk to strangers online, just like you wouldn't in person, right? So if you were on a site, a social media site like Reddit or some kind of blog, and you feel compelled to speak in the comments, understand that likely nothing will happen. But if you engage in an argument or you post some sort of personal information, there's a lot of ways people can get to you or get at you. If you make someone angry online, there's a thing called swatting, where they will find out your address, they'll find out where you live, make a phone call to the local law enforcement in your area and say that someone has a weapon and someone's shot or there's something horrible going on. And then they will send SWAT, right? The SWAT team to go in and break down your door, and they're expecting a hostile situation, right? So this has happened to everyone from uh, regular people to politicians to again, it is something that's going on. So be careful who you talk to online. Be careful with engaging with people online because it can turn out bad. Um, Privacy is important, but just remember that if someone wants your information and someone is a nefarious actor and they're emotional and angry, they could find out a ton of information, even from a photograph on your social media. There's someone on YouTube actually, I don't know what their name is, but they look at they get pictures of people or people submit pictures. They'll take it of like a car on a street corner and they go through Google Earth boop, 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 to find the exact location and address of where this picture was taken. And a lot of times too, when you're posting on social media photographs and whatnot, those photographs can have information on them, date they were taken, sometimes the GPS coordinates. Um, that was how, if anyone's heard of John McAfee, who invented McAfee antivirus, he was wanted in Central America. I want to say he was in Guatemala at the time for murder. and he was with some reporters, and the reporters posted online, and they posted a picture. That picture had the GPS coordinates. They didn't do their due diligence in being anonymous, so immediately the Guatemalan law enforcement and international law enforcement authorities descended upon him, and he of course there's documentaries about this and whatnot. But um, you should know that this the little pieces of information you wouldn't think are consequential could be the difference between someone knowing where you live and what job you have and your usual route, right? So if you have a public calendar and your public calendar has the location of your meetings and things, people can use those as point of references for where you travel. And again, these are all things also used by law enforcement to catch nefarious actors. Um, there was a murder committed in Idaho. It's Moscow, Idaho, is at a university. They're able to trace. I don't know if they actually have done the trial yet, but they actually traced the killer or the accused killer because of their cell phone. Their cell phone binged, on the towers, and they could trace them at the location at the time. So there's a lot of information that people can actually get from your digital experience. Obey age restrictions on social media and other sites. And that's not so much for you because you are all over the age of 18. This is for your family. This is for young people, right? Facebook, I believe, has its own age restrictions at 13. There are legal um there are legal actions that have been taken. There's still regulation that is being put in place, might not be put in place, but I know the state of Florida, you cannot have a social media account unless you are 16 years old and you're not permitted to use it in school. Um, in Illinois, I haven't seen anything like that. I don't think it's a bad idea, honestly, with regards to young people online, just for the mere fact that um, it could be a real distraction from the academic environment and cause a lot of mental harm to these kids. So there's a lot of there's good and then there's bad with social media. So just keep that in mind. As I'm talking about this, it may sound like I'm speaking generally about something being bad. There's a lot of good that can come from it. But again, there's also that other side, the potential harm. Let me move ahead on this. Okay, safety settings on your internet browser and other applications. So if you want to look at your safety settings, you can click on those three little dots. So she has her headshot up here. Okay. I have on my personal Google account, I have a headshot as well. Um, you don't have to put this. This isn't something you have to do. But someone was asking me about it recently, and I said, if you do it, I recommend doing a professional one for your professional email, a nice headshot, not just a, you know, like this lighting that I'm in. I would not want my picture taken from this video because it's top lighting and my eyes look like they're sunken in, and you'd want maybe a professional photographer to do it if you decided to do it, or someone who really likes photography and was patient and would take time to work with you. So you go click on these three dots. This menu will open up. You go to settings. On the settings on the left side, you have all of these different things. You would Google autofill, and then you have this shield, privacy and security. This may look a little different now. So when you go in to do it, it might not be that same checkered shield, but there will be some sort of shield, I believe. And you have all of these options to you, right? So clear the browsing data, clear history, cookies, cache, and more, right? So, and it's either cache or cache, but I think it's cache. It's the E is silent, I believe. Um, so as you go on your browser, as you do things, the browser gathers your history. In gathering your history, space starts to fill up on your browser, right? Because that takes up space with the memory of what it's doing. Cookies are tracking. It's for tracking, right? So if you went to a website Like, let's say Amazon. You went to Amazon and you saved the password through Google. And every time you open your personal laptop, you go onto Amazon and you have access to it. Your credit card's attached to it. It's ease of access, right? So this takes up memory. This takes up space on your browser, and how quickly it works on your computer. What should you do? I say when you maybe every 3 months, depending on how active you are on the computer. If you're very active on it, if you're on it all day long, going between this and that, you should clean, right? You should clear your browsing history, your cookies, the cache, right? So that you can operate and go through things quickly. Now, the good news is when you log back in, Google will have saved your passwords to the websites, and you can still add to those. But you may have to log back in vis-a-vis Google. So you'll say, sign in with my Google account, and it will sign in versus it just opening and remembering, oh, this is the account. So after you do this, there will be some manner of logging back into each one of these sites or apps, whatever you're using over the browser. Okay. Okay. Privacy guide. There's going to be conditions, right? Every time you update with Google or over any kind of browser, any kind of app, it's going to have terms and conditions, and we'll talk about privacy, how it uses their cookies, because Google uses cookies for third parties, that they don't sell your information to certain people, and that they do sell your information to certain people. So all of that is in there. Every time you update, you say, I agree or I consent. Then we have cookies and other site data. Third party cookies are blocked in incognito mode. So when you go on the computer, if you open Google and you are going to do some sort of I'm trying to think of what they say. You don't want someone to track you with cookies, right? And you don't need to log into an account. You can choose to go incognito. I'll show you how to do this in a little bit here. Let me see what time it is because I don't want to run out of time before I show you. We should have plenty of time. Um, you can choose to circumvent getting cookies and whatnot from the third party on your computer and navigate. Now, logging into anything, you will be logged out because it'll be as if you are coming from a different browser that has never been logged into, right? So that is incognito mode. So this is a way to circumvent some of the cookies, some of the um, nonsense that you will find when you are navigating on your normal computer. All right. So let me see if there's anything else I want to go through. Security. All right. So if you made your Google account with this professional email, you will have a backup email and you will have a backup phone number. And this is the way that if you forget your password, you can access Google, right? So this is just backup. This is security, and it will require you to access these, select a certain number so that they know it's you and this is your device. If you log in to our computer lab, right? If you go on the computers here or at the library and you log onto your browser, number one, be careful because, and I say especially at the library, you don't know who used the computer or, you know, if there's any kind of malicious things on the computer. Usually these things are you know, monitored, but I don't know how closely, and I can't guarantee that it's a great idea to trust him. Um, Even our computer lab, I feel like based upon what I've seen and who I've seen in here, I don't think there's any uh, nefarious hackers, with bad stuff on our computers. But just, I would say you can log in. That's fine. If it asks if you want to remember the device, I would say don't, right? Don't remember the device so that the next time you log in and go back onto your Google Chrome, you'll have to use your phone, use your alternative email over your phone so that you can log into the computer. That way it's just more secure, right? So when you before you leave, you would log out. Always log off, log out, and try to eliminate the opportunity for someone to say, "Oh, I have access to this information." Uh, uh, Christina left her email open, and now I can see all of her emails and use the information to steal her identity, that kind of thing, you know? All right. Um, let's see what else. Site settings. Um, usually there will be a pop-up blocker. There's some features of websites that will get blocked. Pop-ups are, we'll talk about those later in our modules, but pop-ups are annoying, usually advertisements, kind of spammy junk that will come up and, like on your screen when you don't want it to, it'll flash or tell you, oh, you are the winner of our weekly prize. Click on this link and go to the website to claim your prize, and it's just it's no good. So there is a pop-up blocker that comes basically automatic through most browsers now, and was something that was implemented even as time went on in the 2000s. But the pop-ups, sometimes it can conflict with a website's ability to play a video, or if it uses a Adobe Flash player or something of that sort. So just keep in mind, depending on what you're doing on what website, sometimes the pop-up blocker will block something that you do want to do. So you might have to click on it. But be careful with that. Trust the website that you're on. Make sure it's not a strange website you've never been on before. Um, that's my response to you. Privacy sandbox, I am honestly not sure what that is. Let me just go through some of the other information here. Okay, so when you see this cog wheel, right, like a cog in a machine, this is usually going to indicate settings on most different um, types of computers, types of uh, web platforms and browsers. This will be how you access the settings. So if you don't see the word settings, but you see this, it's likely going to lead you to settings. All right. Most applications have their own settings that apply only to that application, right? Let's look at the internet browser settings a little closer. We've done that here to show you what the Chrome looks like or what it used to look like. It's actually updated a bit. All right, in the top right corner of the internet browser window, three dots. We talked about that. The three dots are pointed out here. And of course, settings is there. There are several options under privacy and security to help you stay safe. Google has a guide to help you review the most important controls. So if you have any questions, you can review through Google the different options and settings and how they use your information. Most applications will have an area for you to adjust settings. On smartphones, this is often in the settings app, which looks like the wheel icon. So if you go on your smartphone, you will find there's also a settings application. Some apps will pop up asking to track your location or activity. It is usually best to click no on those. And I do have some exceptions. Um, for if you are using Google Maps, it will need access to your location, right? So if you are using the GPS app, Google Maps, you will need to let it use your location. If you can, select use my location while on app. Don't select always use. And I would say that for anything where you feel like, gosh darn it, I have to use my location. But do avoid it. Don't, signal to people where you are. But the Waze is another GPS app. um, you will need to allow it to use your location to be able to take the benefits of using this GPS. Um, Apple Maps, if you have an iPhone, some people like Apple Maps. I don't know who, but um, I prefer over all these I'm saying, and this is my personal preference. You can have a different opinion. I like Google Maps. I feel like they do a really solid job. The Ventra app, you'll probably need to allow to use your location. So there are exceptions, but try to look at the options because usually as you're downloading this app and it's asking to give permissions for, to use your location, you can say no. You won't be able to use the app at all for the GPS, but you can say use while using the app, right? Uh, a- a- Allow use of location while using Google Maps, while using Ventra, while using um, Waze, while using Apple Maps. Okay. So, um, and every other instance where you are not traveling or information isn't needed of your exact location to get somewhere, um, don't use your location, right? Say no. All right. So sometimes cookies and cache in our internet browser can make websites not work correctly, right? They slow down, they get clunky, they act weird. When this happens, we need to know how to clear them, right? And I showed you this, right? Cookies save your browsing data and make it easier for you to return to websites. They track your actions and your preferences. So cookies can basically be a way for companies to collect information so that they can sell it and market you to third parties, right? Cache stores, right? So that's is it CACHE right there? Stores parts of websites to help them load faster the next time you visit those websites, right? So as you type in the uh, the search bar, the web address bar, sometimes it'll finish. It'll say, "Oh, you've been on here before." It won't literally say you've been on here before, but you will see a website that you visited before, and it's the one that you wanted to go to. So you just click on that instead of finishing typing, and it takes you where you were going. Well, that also can slow down your ability to travel on the web. So over time, think of it as like a spring cleaning, but more often, right? You're not just cleaning in the spring, you're springing to clean your cache, to get rid of these cookies, to get rid of the things that slow down your ability to use and navigate the internet. All right. So let's see what else. Often, deleting browsing data, such as cached images and files, helps to fix problems with websites. Removing data types, such as cookies, can also improve your privacy. However, without the cached files, the browser will be forced to download the web page anew. That means you'll have to type it all in, it'll have to load up, and then you probably will have to log in, right? It might not remember your username, even if you checked it. So once you clear this, you have to start from square one with logging back into things. Fortunately for people using Chrome, using Google, you will be able to just click and say, log in with my Google account. Accessibility is the biggest success of Google. Think of, and this isn't, I'm not singing praises for imperialism, right? But think of the British Empire. Where did they set a lot of their resources? On ports, on important ports, right? So on South Africa, where ships would be traveling potentially between um, the East and the West, right? Getting things from India. And then the Suez Canal, right? They also had control over that. So again, between the Middle East, Africa, and Europe. So they made enormous wealth, not just from the resources that they took from across the world, but for being the gatekeepers and providing access. Google has a similar strategy, not in the malicious sense of exploiting people, but in the sense of obtaining information in exchange for free access and ease of access to different resources. And it's a very big moneymaker when it comes to advertising. It's a very big moneymaker. So just think of it in that way in terms of commerce. So why is everything free? Nothing's really free. There's a price. It's just not money. It's data. It's access, right? So your access to other things is augmented with a Google account. That's why it's so important you protect your Google password, change it every 3 months for safety. Let's see. What else do I want to say? Removing data types such as cookies can improve privacy, right? So sometimes some of these cookies, they'll say, oh, or in the past they were able to say, oh, this is just because you need us to help you get in the website, but those cookies follow you onto the other websites and they follow your activity, and then your activity, your interests in maybe designer clothes or and getting an oil change for your car, those things get sold to a third party, which then brings it back to you in the form of advertising and showing up on your Google Maps, right? So you'll see Dunkin' Donuts or you'll see Subway. These things will pop up on your Google Maps because you're traveling and they know you've gone to Subway before. They know that you've stopped at Dunkin' Donuts for coffee before because they have their cookies following your activity, um, tracking your location. So a little bit more of this has been clamped down on, but they still exist. So if you don't go in, and there's a lot of websites that do this, they'll say, default settings for being able to access a website. You have to accept some of these cookies, right? So you go in and you look. There's usually one that's frozen on either selected that says for performance on the website, and then the others will be to track your activity online. To you know, it talks about speed. There'll be all these things. Just select no, 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 right? So that they're not getting more information than they need. And it's not just about um, access to your information. This is about your privacy, and this is about your right as the consumer to know your privacy is being your data is being used responsibly, right? And that you're not getting inundated with advertisements and in it, well, you still are, but you're not getting inundated with maybe advertisements and messaging that is harmful. An example would be a woman who has spent a lot of time online looking up things for their baby to come, and they have a miscarriage, but they're still receiving all of these advertisements, all of these messages about having a baby from advertisers, right? So that was something that came up in recent years to where companies like Google are saying, oh, we need to be thoughtful of this and look at how we use data because this can psychologically affect people too, right? So with every advancement, there's also another side to it. With the good, there's also bad. There's drawbacks. So that is my example for you that I can think of right now. There are other examples, but the miscarriage is a tragic one. Um, and again, being directed on if you're on YouTube or which uses an algorithm to direct you towards videos that you might be interested in, or videos that intersect areas of interest that you've had, um, that can also do the same, have a similar damaging effect depending on what's happened. For example, if you were in a tragic accident and you couldn't use your legs anymore, you're paraplegic, but you keep getting videos on your YouTube about how to prepare for a marathon. This kind of thing can have a detrimental effect. All right, so um, if users are privacy advocates and don't want to have their personal information stored, they should clear the cache and cookie files every session. If you are really very protective of your information, um, you don't have to be logged into Google. You can stay logged out and log in when you need to. That's up to you. I stay logged into Google and I clear the cache every few months when I start to see my performance is lagging, right? So when things are slowing down, should probably do it a little bit ahead of that, but that's usually when I'm reminded, oh, I need to, clean my cache. All right, let's talk about security systems here. Some of these are going to look very familiar. I have used Norton. Windows Defender, I believe, is also something that I've heard highly recommended. Um, Apple, I use Apple iPhone and I have a Mac. Um, I've not seen that before, but I do imagine they would have security services to protect my Apple ID rather. And then, of course, you have Android at the top and McAfee, named for the aforementioned John McAfee. Right? If you ever want to, and I'm going off a little topic here, but if you ever want to see an interesting documentary, there's one on Netflix about him. Wild, wild. But he basically uh, marketed and created the first security systems for computers back when computers were just developing in the 80s, 90s. And a lot of computers for a long time, some I believe still do, have McAfee automatically on the computer itself. He was a very eccentric, not all too nice guy. But that is that company there. And if you have a computer that's maybe a little older, you might get a pop-up that happens every so often saying you need to update your McAfee antivirus or anti-spam or what have you. So you could thank John McAfee for that. One of the pioneers of the security features on computers. All right, so security systems are apps. They're applications, right? They prevent viruses and malware from getting on your device. Viruses and malware are other forms of cyber attacks that can mess up your device or files. They usually make your computer behave weirdly with malware. It's looking to collect information. Ransomware, you've probably maybe heard of. I believe it's a form of malware. Ransomware, big corporations, um, uh, people with money and resources have gotten sent a message. We have all of your systems. We have all of your private information. You need to send us Bitcoin, or we will release your client's private information to the public on the dark web. You'll see these kinds of things in the news. So they happen to the big companies too. Um, when and if your information is ever leaked, that's a big deal. Like that's a big deal to the companies that are supposed to keep it private and safe. So just keep that in mind. Um, so everyone, your information, if you are going to a hotel, if you are going to a big store, um, and you have a credit card through them, all of this is a big deal if it gets leaked on the dark web or is found to have been compromised. All right. As with other applications, they have settings so you can adjust the level of security on your device. And a lot of times, I know there are free antivirus available online as well. AVG, I think, was one I used. Um, I can't remember all of the free versions, but they do exist. And you don't get all of the premium features that might protect you from a ton of stuff. But in the case of risk, in the case of bad things happening, if you download something, if you click on a link to something frequently, that is going to be where you're going to run into a lot of problems. Um, Also, if someone else is compromised and they're an email contact of yours, um, that is potentially a point of concern for you. So just keep in mind that it's always better safe than sorry, but there are basic features that are available to keep you from going on websites that might be harmful to your computer, right? So if you were going off the beaten trail and trying to go on a website and maybe someone told you you'll make money if you go on it, that sounds flim-flammy. That sounds like a scam, right? So be careful not to do those things. If it sounds too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true. If uh, if a prince from Nigeria contacts you on your email and tells you they want to give you $1 million, and you need to send them your information to your bank account so they can send you money, it's fake. Okay, your great great aunt who lived in uh, let's say Saxony, Germany died, and a lawyer's reaching out to you, and they want to give you their estate worth million dollars, it's probably a scam. So again, um, I know the lottery exists and someone wins the lottery, but you don't want to be one of the millions of people who looks at these amazing opportunities that come to them through their email that should have gone through spam, and then gives your personal information, um, uh, even contacts to be like, I know you're a scam. Don't do that. Do not engage with the scammer. Just leave them be. Same for the job hunt. If it's too good to be true, it is. Um, so as soon as you know someone is trying to extract information from you and it's a scam, run. Don't fight. Just run and don't continue to talk to them. Don't talk to anyone you don't know. And in the job hunt, you're usually talking to a lot of people you don't know. I've had three occasions where when I was applying to a job this past year, it was a scam. And I'm not talking about something like a multi-level marketing scam. That's different. There's actually a product attached to it. I'm talking about um, a job where um, it sounded moderately good in terms of the pay, and there was flexibility in terms of working online because this is something these scammers have really gotten into is enticing people with, oh, you can work from home, and then you get to the interview. They ask you a bunch of questions, and then they ask you what your address is and your bank account because you got the job, and they want to get the information so they can put you on direct deposit. Right? As soon as you hear that, and there's no written letter, an offer letter from them, or documentation of any kind over email with forms, it's a scam, folks. So again, this is happening all the time. And when I tell you it happens, it can happen to anyone. It can happen to you. All right. So some of these applications are free and some cost money. Windows Defender is included on laptops that run on Windows 10 or newer versions, right? Apple devices also come with Apple security already built in. So I guess for people who use Apple, that is what they can rely on. I know that there is a Norton for download on Apple, but again, you don't have to buy security. If you own a company, if you own a business, buy it because you do not want to lose your customers' personal information that will result not just in trouble for them and for you uh, in terms of optics with the public, you also get fined by the government, right? There's actual penalties for this. So we've reached the end of part two of our modules. I'm actually going to open part three, and good news, part three is just a review of part one and part two. So wherever we end up on this, we have about 6 minutes left. I'm going to go from the first slide here, the beginning. Okay, I'm going to move through recap and reinforce. You should be taking notes. Yes, you should be, you know, asking questions, writing those down over the course of the class. And if you have any questions, raise your hand, write in the chat. Wherever you need to do, if you need to speak up to, just make sure I'm open in space for it. For example, does anyone have a question about what we just went over? No? All right. I'm going to continue on. And you will be getting a blue badge. After this little bit of the recap, I'm going to authorize everyone to go on to their Google Classroom, and at the top, I believe it's quizzes and quiz module one. When you have finished it, I want you to send me a screenshot. Okay? You could send it to my email. You could submit it over Google Classroom, like I showed you for other assignments with the screenshot. All right, so we have done the email. I want everyone to have this done by Tuesday. Okay? Really do it today if you get time. Because I want you to catch up and get the uh, events calendar made so you can send that to me, right? Because I'm going to be the person you're sending it to. We're going to roll through this. If you want to, you can type a nice message like this, but it doesn't need to be that long. Yes, Gabriel.
Oh, am I send an email to you when I can send how to do it?
Okay, so it sounds like we might need to set up a meeting. So let me have you after class email me, okay? And we will
Okay,
set up a meeting, okay? And
okay,
I'll make sure you're caught up, okay? All right, good,
okay.
good. All
Uh,
right, all right. If anyone's having trouble, um, if anyone's having trouble submitting assignments, please let me know. You can always submit them over email. I've also shown you over Google Classroom how to do that. And we can meet anyone in classroom here, anyone I'm speaking with can make an appointment to meet with me. So as we're getting closer to the end, it's going to be better to have things done, in a timely fashion. And some of these assignments that are coming up aren't too crazy. Some of them are just a screenshot submission and you download an app. And we'll talk about that as time goes on here, but we're going to fly through these other modules. Module one is the longest of all of them because it's the fundamentals and the fundamental information. All right. I'm not going to have you invite me to Thanksgiving dinner, but you're going to make a calendar of our class. All right. I'm going to skip through this. Are you a digital skills expert? Let's find out. Okay, so this is going to be on the hardware. Number one, a portable device has a keyboard, trackpad, trackpad, and ports for a power cable, headphones, USB, and more. Which device is it? Who can tell me? You can write it in the chat or you can raise your hand and I'll pick you. It has a keyboard, a trackpad or touchpad, and ports for a power cable, headphones, USB, and more. Which one of these devices? Is it a desktop, a laptop, this mobile cell phone, or a tablet? It's got a keyboard, so we can rule two of these out. I'll tell you right now. Oh, Gabriel says desktop. I'm going to say that's not the answer. And why is that? Does the desktop have a trackpad or a touchpad? It has a mouse, right? It has a computer mouse. You can see right here, right? So it's not a desktop, a laptop, lap with an ep with a p, lap with an ep with a lap with a p, not a b. Laptop. Yes, that's correct. It's the laptop. All right, now we're going to number two, and we have just a minute left, so this is where we get out of here. Computer component contains and protects the computer's processor, circuits, and data. So this sounds like the brain of the computer. Is it the mouse? Is it the monitor? Is it the computer tower? Or is it the keyboard? What contains the computer's
Computer tower.
process? The what?
Computer tower.
That's right, Krista. That is right. That is correct. It is the computer tower. Excellent. I'm going to end the game now. All right. So everyone can go online and everyone can take the quiz. Once you have completed the quiz, once you have invited me to the calendar event, I'm going to circumvent even this doc, right? This Google Doc we're working on. You'll submit that later, but if you do that, I will give you your first badge. Okay? So you will receive something similar to this. You need to earn 80% on your quiz. So please send a screenshot. You could take the quiz as many times as you like, but you need to get an 80%. Send me the screenshot of the quiz when you are completed, and then that will be credited to you for the course, and you will receive a blue badge after you've done the quiz and after you have done the event. So make sure you have all of the assignments done except for in module one, except for the document for the professional cover letter heading, right? The letterhead. We're not going to worry about that right now. We'll work on that next week. I showed you a little bit. If you want to fish that, great. But I will give you your first badge, your blue Module 1 badge after you submit that. Does anyone have any questions? No? All right. I will see all of you Tuesday. Get your new email to me if you haven't already, or if you haven't, if I didn't say your name today, um, yeah, get your email to me and then make that event. Okay? All right. I'll see you all Tuesday. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Have a great weekend.
You too. Have a great weekend.